Yeah, so what do you think of this movie overall, Jim?
It's a little confusing. It's certainly depraved. I'm not saying Takashi Miike is depraved, but the film
No,
that he
there's
made,
an art, like separate the art
there's
from
an
the
art
artist here,
in that depravity.
Right? Yeah, no, but but it's like what's his face?
But
Not
just
Botticelli, but who was the weirdo? Well, I guess Goya. Like he painted some depraved
yeah,
shit. Like was
Goya.
he a awful person? I don't know.
Well, I didn't like his art. I can tell you that.
Well, that's you, but well, no, who is the other guy? The medieval guy.
Well, whoever painted Jupiter devour or what is it? Saturn? No, Jupiter devouring his
That's
sons.
Goya.
Was that Goya?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there is art in the depravity, but sometimes it's just like it's a little too much, like that shit pool, like just stuff like that, or it kind of like the whole movie kind of reminded me of oh shit, what's that French director's name who makes weird movies?
Aja? Aha?
Who made
Alexandra?
fuck, what's the name of the movie?
When you say weird movies, are we talking normal weird or like weird weird?
Like
Are we
weird,
talking
weird.
high tension or are we talking,
Is one called
French New Wave?
Irreversible?
Oh, that guy. Oh, that fucking prick. What was that guy's name?
You
Yeah,
know who
I
I'm
hate
talking
that
about.
guy. Yeah, he made
Yeah.
Irreversible, Climax, Love,
No Way. Isn't it No Way?
Gaspar Noé,
Yeah, I think it's Noé. I think it's Gaspar Noé. But yeah, this movie reminded me of like something Gaspar Noé would make, but
Okay.
it seems like there's more. I don't want to shit on him because I think some of his movies are interesting, but it seems like there's more intelligence behind the lens with like coming from Takashi Miike. But knowing that, I'm not entirely sure what I was supposed to get out of all of the depravity. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I
That's
understood
fair.
the story. I understood the characters.
I mean,
intentions.
that is how I'll admit that's how I felt watching Irreversible. I'm
Yeah.
impressed by some of the filmmaking,
Yeah.
but I'm so put off by everything that I'm not really sure what to get out of it. That's how I felt with that.
Exactly. But no, I mean, I understood the story of this movie. I just didn't understand a lot of the director's decisions, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, and I will say, like, there's something. The way Takashi Miike frames a lot of his shots, there's almost like a very, like, art house or, like, indie filmmaker kind of aesthetic, because he has, like, lots of these shots that are just, like, kind of long and static, and no one's really that close to the camera. And I'm just thinking, like, all these shots, like, when they're on the rooftops, or even the scene where Hitoshi goes home to his mother, and it's just, like, these flat shots that are, like, where there's just very little happening in the shot, and someone will say something, and they're like long takes of just like dialogue, and I'm like, this is such like an art house or an indie way to film a movie, and like nowadays when you see that style, it's usually in like one of those indie dramedies where people sit in a bathtub and like talk about all that they've learned throughout the movie. But like, I like seeing that style here in a movie that also features someone getting noodles shot out of their stomach. Like there's contrast almost in the style where there's this a little bit of the
Yeah.
the high intensity action. It's not as great, as well choreographed as like it's the guy that did Face Off and like The Killer, that Hong Kong guy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but yes.
Yeah, but there's a little bit almost of that like gun fu style, but there's also like some kind of thoughtful drama here, and I kind of appreciate the mixture of those two. I agree it doesn't work perfectly.
But you know what it does do, though? What it does do is that like you get a little stressed out from all these action scenes where the camera's just cutting or moving and people are moving and there's noises and lights and all kinds of action happening on the screen. But then you get to like this human drama and it's nice and slow and you can just kind of soak it in. You can also kind of relax, but you're also not entirely relaxed because all of the human drama in the movie is like sad. So, so
Okay.
you're just depressed. And then you got to cut straight back to like crazy gun fu shit.
Okay, and I also will say, because you mentioned the editing there, because you also mentioned Gaspar Noé, I will say that this movie is not edited nearly as obnoxiously as a Gaspar Noé film. I fucking hate
I agree.
that he always does these things where there's just black frames when he edits from one shot to another, or sometimes even within the shot. I hate that. I don't know why he does it. I first noticed it when I watched Love, and I'm like, this is the worst editing, most obnoxious editing technique I've ever seen. And then he has it all over Climax, too. I'll say this, like, Takashi Miike does weird things, but he never pisses me. He doesn't have things in his very unique style that piss me off. So I just greatly prefer him to someone like Gaspar Noé, who maybe there isn't that much of a connection between those two, but I'm just like, I don't know.